Good morning, everyone. Myself, Mrs. Surekha Sonawala. In this video, you can find the discussion about very interesting topic that is known as curriculum. We'll discuss what is meaning of curriculum, which are various definitions given by various philosophers about curriculum, and which are types of curriculum. What is meaning of curriculum? The word curriculum is derived from Latin word curre, that means to run or to reach towards the goal. For example, the teacher and student, they both run to reach towards the goal to complete the syllabus or to complete the course. That is meaning of curriculum. What is difference between curriculum and syllabus? Curriculum is a very vast concept. Syllabus is just a part of curriculum. Various subjects like syllabus of mathematics, syllabus of history. Let us discuss the difference between traditional and modern concept of curriculum. Traditional concept of curriculum was only subject-centered curriculum. The importance is given to acquire the knowledge of specific subjects. But now, all the philosophers and educationists, they recommended the education system should be based on child. Child is important factor in all teaching learning process. So now the modern concept of curriculum is not to develop only intellectual factor but all factors like social, moral, mental, physical, cultural and spiritual development. The definition of philosopher Cunningham, he said that curriculum is a tool in the hands of the artist to mold his material according to his aims and objectives in his studio. See here the words are given in the bracket. The curriculum is a tool in the hands of artist. Who is artist? Here teacher is like artist. To mold his material. Material means to teach his students according to his aims and objectives. And in his studio, studio means his classroom. Very interesting definition given by Cunningham. Another definition, that is Crow and Crow. He defines curriculum includes all those experiences which people gets inside or outside the school that helps to develop physically, intellectually, socially, morally and culturally. For example, students, in your B.Ed curriculum, it includes all the theory and practical courses like internship period, community work, research, as well as you learn various courses like philosophy, psychology, gender school and society is one. Now here you better understand the difference between curriculum and syllabus. Another definition of curriculum, a plan for action or written document that includes strategies to achieve desired goals. Here some components of curriculum are given like goal, content, method and evaluation. While framing the curriculum, it is very necessary to keep in mind these all four components. Now let us discuss various principles of curriculum. The first and very important principle of curriculum is curriculum should be based upon aims and objectives. When the experts they frame the curriculum, they must consider the level of the pupils. For example, if you want to teach history for 7th class students, you must frame the aims and objectives. What you want to achieve, what is your expectation from the student after the end of the period or after the end of the year, what the behavioral outcomes you wanted. Your B.Ed curriculum also on the front page, the aims and objectives are given. What changes in behavior we are expected from the pupil teachers at the end of the year. Next principle is curriculum must be child-centered. Now, what is meaning of child-centered? That the need of the child, interest, ability, capacity, efficiency, these things should be considered while framing the curriculum. We cannot frame same curriculum for urban and rural area. Why? The availability of the resources is different in both area. We cannot teach law of gravity to second standard student because he is not mentally perfect to learn this type of complex content. Curriculum should be community center. Just now we discussed that in urban area and rural area, the curriculum should be different because the need is different. Where there is lack of electricity in rural area, how can we give them, force them to learn computer education? Whatever resources are available in rural area, we can give them vocational training based upon the natural resources. Same the example of Adivasi people, they can't understand the general language or common language. Their mother tongue is different. If we train them, if we prepare the textbooks or content matter in their local language, that will be useful then. So what is need of community? The curriculum should be depend upon that. So the next principle of curriculum construction is integrated approach. What is meaning of integration? That subject should not be taught in various compartments. It is difficult to cope up or understand for students. The subjects can be taught by using integrated approach. For example, they can learn maths and science through singing, dancing, painting, or art and craft, or history and civics can be learned through arranging various activities in the classroom. So by using integrated approach, it is easy for students to understand the content deeply. The next principle is curriculum should be problem oriented. We know that children are very curious. They ask many questions. How the birds fly. They ask about sun, rain, sunset and sunrise, about plants. Too many questions they ask, but we never allow them to ask the questions. But the curriculum should be problem oriented. Give them opportunities to think themselves, to find out something, to discover, to invent something, to develop their logical thinking and decision making through curriculum. So the next principle of curriculum is curriculum should be interesting. We cannot expect from each and every student that he will become a cricketer, singer, dancer, or politician, whatever. We have learned in the psychology that there are individual differences among people. The interest, aptitude, attitude, understanding the concept, then perception are different per individual. So there should be variety in the curriculum that each and every student they can learn according to their interest level. Then curriculum should be useful to all. We know after getting graduation and post-graduation degree, many students they don't get job, and we want to eradicate the problem of unemployment. The curriculum should be useful for them in future days. For example, we can give them vocational training, technical education, computer ICT training that can be useful for them. Through curriculum, we can develop the creativity of the pupils. The questions like fill in the blanks, match the column, answer in one sentence, they don't like to complete such assignments. Through curriculum, we can develop their creativity by asking them to find out something, to collect something, to draw, to make models. The children, they are very creative, and curriculum is the best means to develop their creativity on right direction. Next principle of curriculum construction is theory and practice should be together. All the philosophers like Mahatma Gandhi ji and John Dewey, they recommended learning by doing. The students can easily learn the theory when they do practice itself. For example, in your B.Ed curriculum also, you learn various theory courses as well as you learn practice during your internship by presenting the lessons in the classroom. So in the curriculum, theory and practice should be given equal weightage. Next principle is use of leisure time. There should be provision in the curriculum how the students they will use their time. For example, in the absence of teachers, the students they can perform some activities, they can read some extra reference work, or they can collect some information which is required for their project work. The provision should be made in the curriculum. Next principle is curriculum should be correlated. The subject should not be taught in isolated matter. If we teach them with correlation, it will be easy them and the students to understand. For example, if they are learning about various freedom fighters, or if they are learning about First World War, Second World War in the history, at the same time they can learn the scientific reasons of First World War and Second World War, or the causes and effects of war on the nation or entire world. At the same time, in the maths, they can learn the economical conditions of the world. In this way, 2 or 3 subjects can be teach by maintaining correlation between them. Next principle is principle of forward looking. The content, subjects and entire curriculum should be useful for the students in their future days. If the student is in the 5th standard now, after 20 to 25 years after completing his graduation or post-graduation, what type of knowledge will be useful for them? To take into consideration such type of subjects should be included in the curriculum. Next principle is principle of flexibility. In our curriculum, all subjects are compulsory for them. We are not giving them opportunity to choose any subject according to their interest. It is not necessary that each and every student they like maths or science. Some of them maybe like languages, literature. Few students they like social science, history or geography. So make curriculum should be flexible and freedom should be given to students to choose the subjects according to their interest. I hope you understand the principles of curriculum construction. Now let us discuss the types of curriculum. There are 4 types of curriculum. First one is child-centered curriculum. Second one is subject-centered curriculum. Third one hidden curriculum. And fourth one is enacted curriculum. Let us discuss one by one. The first type of curriculum is child-centered curriculum. It is designed to develop the individual and social qualities of the child rather than any subject. The importance is given to child, what is his need, interest, what is his understanding level, and freedom is given to child. The children and teacher they sit together, they discuss the aims and objectives and goal and subject and content matter. The child centered curriculum develops the interest and creativity among the child. In this child centered curriculum, the children are very active, energetic by using their senses, and the role of teacher in this curriculum is just a facilitator and guide. The second type of curriculum is subject-centered curriculum. It is opposite to child-centered curriculum. We discussed that in child-centered curriculum, the importance is given to child's interest, ability, and understanding level. But in subject-centered curriculum, the focus is given on acquiring the knowledge of specific subject. For example, maths, geography, history, civics, science, whatever. The main importance is given to acquire the knowledge of subject and passing the examination. Here the need, interest and ability of the child is not considered. The third type of curriculum is hidden curriculum. The meaning is given in the word itself. What is hidden curriculum? The knowledge or the message can be given intentionally or unintentionally through school administration, teachers, parents, or school atmosphere. The term hidden curriculum is coined by Philip Jackson in his book Life in Classroom in 1916. Now let us discuss by few examples what is hidden curriculum. Suppose the teacher in the classroom always say, I like pin drop silence in the class. The students, they get the message that teacher don't like to talk in the class and they never will approach the teacher for their problem or to discuss anything. They remain silent. If in any school the importance is given to maths and science subject, the message delivered to students that only the maths and science subjects are important and other languages, history, geography, these subjects are less important. If the teacher says to boys, boys are very strong, they can lift heavy things. The message delivered to girls that they are weak, they are not strong. Here the intention was not, the teacher's intention was not that to create gender bias in the classroom, but the message can be delivered to students through this curriculum or behavior or any rules and regulations of the school, etc. That is known as hidden curriculum. You can observe in the picture that how the teacher is scolding the child and asking him to leave the class, to get out from my class. Some teachers, they follow the rules and regulations and they are very disciplined manner. But at the same time, they forget that the child never approached to them to share their problems or to share their things with the teacher. And few teachers, they are very friendly with the students. They create rapport with their students and students can easily approach to them to get guidance or to solve their problems. The last type of curriculum is enacted curriculum. Enacted curriculum is the teacher, student and instructional material. These three components are essential in enacted curriculum. Teacher provides the opportunity to students for practice. For example, when teacher teaches the sums of maths problem, he asks the student to solve it in the notebook or on the blackboard. Or science teacher asks to do some experiment to students, means he provides the opportunity to students. So we have discussed the principles of curriculum and types of curriculum in this video. If you like, please share and subscribe my channel.